Hello my friends, and thank you so very much for coming this side to watch our videos. I always appreciate every feedback. If there is something that you're learning for yourself, please make sure that you write it on the comment box and say, this is what I have learned for myself. Once more, my name is Joseph Mudau, and I always appreciate you and thank you for watching these videos. Today I want to have a conversation with you. It is a conversation that is coming out from the realities that we have, that you and I are facing during COVID-19. And that is a topic of dealing with grief, a topic of dealing with grief. Previously, I used to think like when we talk about grief, we are talking about a loss of a loved one. And we have confined a definition of grief on when we have lost our loved ones, we have lost our family members and all that. But the most important part of grief that I want to deal with you today, it is about any loss that you have encountered because of COVID-19 or because of lockdown. Did you know that when people are traumatized or when they are going through the most, there is always fear, there is always anxiety that takes over. There is also an element of despair and frustration. And I don't know what you are dealing with today, especially when you look at what you have lost. Reality is that some of the people have lost on their work, some of the people they've lost on their business opportunities. I mean, some of us who are speakers, we have also lost on the speaking gigs. We should have spoken in some of the beautiful conferences that were going to uplift our profile. So the reality is that you and I are dealing with the pain, the consequences, and the grief that comes with COVID-19. Some of the anxiety, the loneliness. And that is why in our country, our statistics for domestic violence, it is also growing. It is growing because one way or the other, our minds are not ready to deal with the realities that we are dealing with. I want you to take a break. I want you to take a step back and ask yourself a question. How am I doing? If I am Joe, I need to ask myself a question. Joe, how are you doing? And if you feel that there is a sense of despair and frustration, make sure that you go and seek help. Make sure that you go out there and find solutions. Because these are the realities that we are also dealing with on a daily basis. And I want to just talk to you in the reality or in the sense that some of the people that have lost some jobs, they've lost some job opportunities, some businesses. Our work environment, they've become our place of, it's sort of your second home. Your work, you spend more of your time in a work environment. So when you lose that job, one or the other is going to impact on your mood swing, it's going to impact on your relationship, it's also going to impact on your overall emotions and also your health. I want you to also understand that feeling the pain of a loss, it's not a sense of weakness. It does not mean that you are weak, but it means that you are human. I want to share with you a few points that are going to assist you with the realities that we are dealing with today. The starting point for yourself is that point number one, allow yourself to grieve. Allow yourself to grieve because grief is a natural response to a loss. And that includes your loss of job, a loss of income, a loss of business. Allow yourself to grieve. It's natural for you to grieve. A feeling of, because most of the time, we want to feel control over our lives. But if it is not possible and there are realities that you are dealing with, make sure that you accept or allow yourself to grieve. This has a way of dealing with your self-esteem and also your self-confidence. You had a daily routine. You are waking up in the morning and doing particular activities. Today I saw on social media, there was a topic that was trending of people that are doing consulting work in the space of entertainment. And they are saying, this is difficult for us. If you are going through that, allow yourself to grieve. Point number two, you must face your feelings. One of the things that it's also important that we need to do is to understand that our feelings determines how we are going to react tomorrow. If you feel that you are in despair, you must make sure that you attend to that feeling. If you feel that, somehow your life has been distracted, make sure that you also look at that. We have seen a lot of people, even during this COVID-19, where some of them, because they are failing to control how they feel, some of them, they even move into a space where they eat too much, they drink too much, and that becomes a contributor to domestic violence. And I want you to also note that here is a process of grieving, and that I believe it's also going to assist you in dealing with your realities. Number one, give yourself time to adjust. Ladies and gentlemen, you must understand that if there is no more income or an extra income that you are making because you have lost on a business or you have lost on a job, you must understand that there must be adjustment. I want to repeat that. You must give yourself to adjust. There must be adjustment in your family setup, in your lifestyle. There must be adjustment. Learn to adjust. Learn to correct yourself. Learn to understand that these realities, whatever you're going through today, you have to cut off on certain things. If it was possible that every day your family was eating outside or in the restaurants, of course, I think COVID and lockdown restricted us in many ways. If you are finding yourself in that space, it means you have to start to readjust on your life patterns. Some of you were waking up early in the morning to go to your work environment. Now that is going to stop. You have to adjust. You have to understand that your calendar, your schedule is going to look different. Point number two, on the process of a grief, you must write about your feelings. It is important for you to understand that what you feel, it's a thermometer. It gives us a temperature of your life. So what your loss of job, what kind of a feeling are you experiencing? There are other people that are going through the feeling of they become suicidal. Write those points down in order for you to deal with your reality. It is important for you to understand that if you write your feelings down, it helps you. It's part of the therapy. You must write how you feel. You must write how, that way it will also help you to also look at other possible solutions. Number three, the process of dealing with grief, accept your reality. I want you to understand that the minute when people sit down and say life is unfair, it is because we are in denial. We are failing to accept our reality. Understand that you have lost on a job opportunity. Understand that you have lost on a business. Accept your reality in life. Ladies and gentlemen, there is no solution in denial. Ladies and gentlemen, there is no solution when you think that you are not affected by the realities that we are facing today. So what you need to do, accept your reality. The sooner you do, the sooner you are able to go into the next phase and find possible solutions. Point number 4, you must avoid beating yourself up. It is easy to start criticizing or blaming yourself that you are not good enough. That is why you have lost on a job. You are not good enough. That is why you have lost on a business. It is easy for you to criticize yourself. It is easy for you to deal with your self-esteem. It is easy for you to go and try to demonize yourself because you have lost on a business opportunity. Avoid beating yourself up. You will need that self-confidence to go to the next level. So don't kill your self-confidence. Don't tarnish your self-confidence, because that it is important. I want you to also challenge every negative thought that comes to your mind. And I want you to understand that the reality that you and I are facing is that most of the time we have to deal with the negative thoughts. If a thought says it is because you are not good enough, try to counter those thoughts and say, I am good enough. I'm enough. Because you must understand that if your world is right up here, therefore your reality will also be right. If you can hold it in your mind, you will eventually also hold it in your hand. And number 5, think of your job loss as a temporary setback. It's very important for you to understand that what you are going through today, it is not the end of the world. It does not mean that you are a failure. It is just a temporary setback. Don't make permanent decision because of a temporary setback. The mere fact that you have lost on a job, it is a temporary setback. Make sure that you also understand that. And you must also, the last thing, that it's important for you to also note that opportunities are always available in a crisis. I want to conclude today by reminding you the benefits of crisis. You and I are finding ourselves in COVID-19, a pandemic, a real crisis of our nation. We have seen a lot of people who have lost job opportunities, their loved ones, and many things that you can mention. But one thing that I want you to do in shaping up and thinking differently is that crisis is an incubator of creativity. So you must understand that every solution came through because of crisis. Innovation comes through crisis. So crisis also demands a new way of thinking about the old problems. The challenges that we have in our communities now, we have to think differently. You know, this COVID-19, it's a defining moment for us. It is redefining the way we have done things before. So we have to now think better. We have to think in a manner that it's also befitting to the challenges that we are also going through today. Crisis is an opportunity to improve on where you are. It is an opportunity for us. Haven't you realized that the rich becomes richer even during crisis? The poor remain poor even in crisis. So you and I must also understand that these opportunities are all there. What we need to do is to make sure that we change the way we think. We also change the way we imagine things. Whoever thought in our country that things like a mask is going to be a rare commodity? Whoever thought that in our country things like a sanitizer is going to be a rare commodity? On that note, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for watching this video, and I'm hoping that you have learned something for yourself and you have picked up some lessons that you are going to take to your next life. Let me conclude by also mentioning those 5 points that you should reflect on how to grieve, the process on how to grieve. Number 1, accept reality. Wherever you are, it is your reality. If it means you need to also cut down on certain things in your life, it is your reality. Number 2, avoid beating yourself up. It is important for you to encourage yourself. Number 3, think of your job loss as a temporary setback. It is important because it does not mean that your setback, it means the end of your world. Number 4, you must also look at the good and out of the bad. You must always be willing to reflect of the good out of the bad. And the last one, give yourself time to adjust and write something about how you feel in terms of what you're going through. Thank you for watching, and God bless you. Meet you at the top where you belong.